WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American over here in Germany, often tasting rare and exotic whiskeys. Today I have Ardbeg, ooh, don't have that very often, Heavy Vapours, special committee only edition. So this was bottled on the 21st of November 2022. Ex-Bourbon, 50.2% ABV, Whiskybase number 229495. And over here in Germany, it had a price of 135 euros. Now, I am not a peathead. I am not even a fan of Ardbeg. So, why in the world did I buy this? Now, I bought this because I thought the way they did this is very fascinating. It's called Heavy Vapours. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a model here of my still. All right, not of my still, but of a still. All right, imagine this is my pot still. I have here the fire. I have here then the wort that I put into the still, and I add heat. And then it starts to actually boil. Water boils at 100 degrees Celsius and alcohol, ethanol, at a much lower temperature. All right, so, and then we have that the vapor, so this is how I imagine it. I imagine I'm a alcohol molecule. And I am created by yeast. So basically, what was it called? We can take 100 grams of sugar, and I get 50 grams of ethanol and about 49 grams of CO2. And the rest are these long chain fatty acids, these esters, and so on, but about 50-50, all right? And so we have CO2, we have ethanol, and we have now my molecule. And I'm put in the pot still, and what happens is the more heat you add, the faster I move back and forth, and then somehow I have enough energy to actually escape and turn into, first of all, I'm a liquid, and now I'm turned into a gas. I'm a vapor, and I can actually flow up the column still. And I can float, I can fly, yay, I'm free. And then I hit the line arm, and that's going to be this little thing here. This is going to be my condenser. And between the condenser and between the pot still, we have a so-called line arm. Sometimes the line arm is flat, sometimes it's descending, sometimes it's ascending. Yeah. All right, so I have my line arm. Now, in this line arm, we can have, and a few different distilleries do, not many, they have something called a purifier that makes it pure. So what happens is my little alcohol molecule goes up. It's actually maybe even different areas of pressure I have to go through, and maybe I fall back down and didn't have enough energy. Then I do have enough energy, and then I go up, and I'm still vapor, and I hit the line arm, and there I lose the energy. But since it's a flat or descending line arm, I can still kind of slide down and wait to go to the condenser, the cooler, and then become once again, and there I'll be gathered, and then I can be transferred into a barrel. Yay. And one day somebody's going to drink me. So that's the goal of life for maybe an alcohol molecule. But unfortunately for me, as an alcohol molecule, I have my line arm, I have a purifier, and that's symbolized here by this little piece of aluminum. All right, so that's a tiny little, like a pot. It could be just like a pipe, it could be a little bowl, it could be a bulge, it could be just something. And any type of heavy vapors that do not have enough energy to jump over that gap, they flow, they're gathered, they condense in the purifier, and they run down a tube, that's what this is symbolizing here, back into the pot still, and the whole process starts again. All right, so I'm purifying, I'm refining my spirits by only allowing the lighter vapors to actually go through the line arm down into the condenser. Now, this little device here is not unique for Ardbeg. Now, if I go over to my, Dr. Bill Lumsden actually said that, of course, Glen Grant have them. I did the tour there 6 years ago, and the lady, she was a university student that was just a summer job. She said, yes, and our wash stills and our spirit stills have purifiers. I asked, what do the purifiers do? Well, they, of course, purify the spirit. And how do they work? Yeah, let's move on to the next point. I was like, okay. So she knows what they did. She didn't know how they did it. All right. So now I'm finding out myself what purifiers do and how they work. Now, we have different types of purifiers. We have water-cooled purifiers and we have non-water-cooled purifiers. Water cooling, of course, makes it even more difficult to go from the pot still to the condenser. All right, because you actually have a little bit of cooling and you need to have so much energy you can jump the gap without actually being reintroduced to the system. Now, Glen Grant have water-cooled purifiers on their wash and on their spirit stills. Interesting. Edgeladauer have on their spirit still only. Glen Spey have it only on the spirit still, and Strathmill. And according to a recording with Dr. Bill Lumsden together with Mark Gillespie, Dr. Bill actually said Old Pulteney has them. I did not know that they have a purifier. Now, there are different other places that have non-water-cooled purifiers. I know the word for water-cooled, dephlegmator. All right, so I know that, for example, here in Germany, St. Kilian is one of the distilleries. Forsyth's actually made the pot stills, and at the very top, there's a little bit of a purifier / dephlegmator where you can add water and you can actually increase the reflux. That's all it is. Reflux is to reintroduce something back into the system. Reflux, all right? So now, Ardbeg has a non-water cooled spirit still only. Tomor, haven't been inside that place yet, want to one day, been outside. They have on their wash and on their spirit still a purifier, non-water cooled. Did you know Glenlussie has a wash still only, Scapa has a wash still only, and Taliska, I did not know that, has on their wash stills, not on the spirit stills, and the wash stills, they also have a purifier. So that just means reflux and just going back and making a cleaner, pure spirit. All right, so you have the picture of what's going on here, and you basically understand what's going on here. Now, Dr. Bill Lumsden, in the interview with Mark Gillespie, said about 12 years ago, so this is going to be about an 11-year-old spirit. It's a no-age statement. Unfortunately, they did not have the audacity to put a 10 on it. I would have loved that, but hey, why would I go out and buy for 35 euros a Ardbeg 10 and go out for 135 and buy the committee release? That's one of the things. This is even, it has a little bit of the suspicion it's even better. It's older. It's got to be, no, not really. It's like a 10, 11-year-old product. All right, good. So they actually, when Dr. Bill Lumsden was at the distillery back then, almost 12 years ago, they literally mechanically removed the purifier. They disconnected it. So you have your pot still, you have your line arm, part of the line arm, you have the purifier, which is like a T section basically, then it goes back down, and then they removed it and actually put in a different copper pipe, so it goes directly over the line arm into the condensers. So, and if I understand them correctly, they distilled for an entire week, and they could therefore see before, during, and after the difference, what the purifier really did. Was there a massive change of the new make? Was there, after 2 years of the cask maturation Ex-Bourbon, very, very good. You can find out what's going on, and you don't have the problem with sherry or port or whatever you had. You actually can tell if there's a change in the spirit. And that's what we get to do. We, the whiskey fans of the world, get to now go with the heavy Vapours and see, was there a big difference? So why they released this now for the committee release and for Ardbeg Planet Day, and why they didn't do it last year, why didn't we wait another year, we'll never know. That's one of those secrets. Also something we'll never know is why did Ardbeg release just 3-4 weeks ago the Bizarrebecue, and there was a little bit of hype, and then there was like, oh, we need to talk about the committee release here, Heavy Vapours instead, and then everyone forgot about Bizarrebecue. The Ardcore was March 2022. So you had a whole year of nothing, and then you had 2 releases basically back to back within weeks. Okay, the logistics and the marketing team of Ardbeg can do better than that, I think. Just me. All right, very, very good. So I'm going to try this. As I said, I'm not a big Ardbeg fan. I'm definitely not a peat head, but on the nose, I just get, it smells for me typical Ardbeg 10. There's nothing really special about it. It's nothing really out of the ordinary. The Gory Reckon is what I would rather prefer. The Odd No with a little bit more of the peated moment I prefer. This just smells like basic Ardbeg. Now, Ardbeg is going to change if we want it to or not. Why? Up until this year, the next year no longer, 2024, they have always received their malted barley from Port Ellen. Diageo last year declared, sorry, cut. So 2024, no more. 2023, we're going to respect our contracts. We need it for Port Ellen and the distillery there. We need it for the Ko'ila and everything else we're doing there. We need it ourselves. And now, Ardbeg is between a rock and a hard place. They're trying to import other peated barley sources from mainland Scotland. They might actually start doing some of their own, but this is serious, people. All right, and that's what I really see here, which I think is interestingly understandable. 11 years ago, almost 12, Dr. Bill Lumsden actually was at the distillery Ardbeg on Islay. Someone, according to his orders, actually removed that purifier. He ran those different spirit runs and he barreled it. And 11 plus years later, we now can taste the result. We will be tasting the result of the change of the barley and the peat, Torf, German for peat. For Ardbeg, for example, WhiskyJason, 5 years old. So if they start doing something different this year, we will be able to taste the difference by WhiskyJason in 2028 at the earliest. Ardbeg 10 will be 2033 that we taste the difference at the earliest. Whiskey is a enormously long, patient waiting game. We change something today, and in 10 years from now, we will notice a difference. And that is so demonstrated here. Yeah, so 11 years ago, 12 years ago, 2011, yeah, they went there, they did something, they tried something. Now today we get to have the result. Just amazing. All right. So on the nose, as I said, it's almost a little bit boring, all right, for an Ardbeg. There's not that much peat that I'm getting here. I have the citrus. I have you know what? Have you ever had cheap supermarket barbecued potato chips? I'm not talking about the good barbecue potato chips. I'm talking about the cheap ones. That's what I get here a little bit. All right, let's try it. Cheers. Mm-hmm. So the very, very first thing that I notice is that the 50.2%, absolutely right. The second thing I notice is there's no ash tray. There is peat. There is a little bit of barbecue smoke, but it's almost, for me, as a non-Ardbeg, as a non-peat head, this is actually tasty, which I assume and I interpret as saying for other peat heads out there in the world that I'm not, and for other Ardbeg fans, this is too weak. Where did the peat go? And now the question is, wait a second. The purifier makes it dirtier. The heavy vapors go across, not just the light vapors. And I thought that the peat would actually be more in the heavy flavors. Yeah, the heavy flavors would be in the heavy vapors. The more you have the reflux, the less of the phenol, the less of the peat goes over. But here I have the feeling, and I might be totally wrong, but I really do have the feeling that there's less peat smoke in here than a normal Ardbeg 10. So I would have put money on the table and said, here, 10 euros, 5 euros, this will have more smoke, more peat than normal because the purifier is gone. But actually, I feel that that is exactly the opposite. So if I look here, I'm at Whiskybase 229495. It says peaty, medicinal, no ash, maritime, citrus, some marzipan, some lemongrass, sweet. There's a sweetness from the bourbon barrels there. Someone else writes thinner than expected. On the nose, you get a lot of smoke, but the price tag, not there. Someone says a Dream of Life says here, this is smokier than a Hypernova. Did not expect that. One else person wrote here, quite weak Ardbeg release. There's a lot of, it's quite full of smoke at the beginning, but it's tame. The young spirit takes over quickly. What was it? Slight smoke moment. So relatively flat malt. So there's bitter almonds. There's yeast. There's a little bit of yellow fruit. So most of the people just say boring, flat. It's disappointing is what people write here. All right, question number 1. What effect does a purifier have on the taste? Now, Talisker has a purifier. Scapa has a purifier. Glen Grant has a purifier, and they do fabulously well in 20, 30-year-old cherry butts. Beautiful, beautiful whiskeys. It doesn't always, the purifier doesn't make it lighter. What does the purifier do, in your opinion? And the second one is, if that's a little too technical for you, the question is, which is your favorite Ardbeg in the last 5 or 10 years? Is it going to be our heavy vapors? Is it going to be Ardcore? Is it going to be black? Is it going to be, I don't know what. So we always have the normal release, and we always, before that, usually have the committee release. The committee release is for the members of the Ardbeg fan club. It doesn't cost anything. You have to sign up, given your email address, and you're a member, and you have access to these. Each country has their own special little releases, maybe even each state in America. I'm not sure about that. And then you can buy the bottles, and then you can share with your friends and make some good, a lot of people happy, because at a price tag of 130, no. Value for money, D-. Taste, solid C. As I said, if I like it, that's really weird. Other people are not going to find it as enough punch, enough peat, enough wow. Yeah, just a totally normal Ardbeg in the nose, and the taste, a little bit more sweetness, a little less peat, and a little bit more of the lemon drops. Good. Thank you very much for watching, liking, subscribing, telling others. All the best. WhiskyJason here. And don't forget my nice little line arm with my purifier here. Yeah, and my condenser. So today, no comparison whiskey, but therefore a model. See you soon. Bye-bye.